Hello, myself Arpita Ajit Bendel from the C Division. As per the assigned task of the report and presentation of the CPD course, we have formed the group of 5 members including myself, Arya Chogale, Pradnya Desai, Shreya Kumbar and Keshvi Vakrikar. The topic of our presentation is e-waste in space. Let's begin with the presentation. So the presentation includes what is e-waste in space debris, types of space waste, reasons of space waste, statistic, amount of space waste, space junk growth per year, effects of space waste, methods used to deal with the space waste, solutions space recycler, precautions, conclusion and references. What is e-waste in space? E-waste in space is nothing different from the electronic waste on the earth. All the man-made solid waste materials in the space are collectively called as e-waste in space. These e-waste in space causes space pollution. These have very hazardous effects on the space as well as on the earth. Space debris. Space debris is the scientific term for the man-made objects in the space which serve no longer useful function for the Earth. Space debris is also known as space junk or space waste. The space debris can be of size 1 cm to 10 cm or larger than the 10 cm. These include non-functional spacecraft, dead satellite, abandoned launch vehicle stages, and fragmented debris. According to the researchers, it is estimated that 100 million pieces of the space trash are flowing through our region of the solar system, as in lower Earth orbit or geostationary orbit. The next is types of space waste. There are many types of space waste. Non-functional satellites. Every year, many satellites are launched in space, according to the different regions, such as communication for the scientific purpose, etc. Regardless of their purposes, satellites eventually wear over the time. So these non-functional satellites become the waste. Abandoned launch vehicle stages. In the modern day, many space shuttle uses more than one rocket stages to power them into the space. The final and upper stages expel from the final and upper stage expel from the spacecraft, and the remaining stages trapped into the Earth's orbit. Solid fuel rockets. Many other launch space shuttles use solid fuel rockets as they remain longer or as they remain longer in the storage. Tiny flakes of paints, derelict satellites, unburned particles from the rocket motors, fragmented parts of the dead spacecraft and the satellites, solidified liquid from the spacecraft breakups, and the spent rocket stages are the examples of this space waste.
Here I am going to explain the reasons of a space waste and the statistic of a space waste. The first is the reasons of a space waste. The first one is the number of failed satellite launches. In almost 60 years of space activities, more than 5,250 launches have resulted in some 42,000 tracked orbits, of which 23,000 remains in space. The second one is the used upper stages of a rocket with launch adapters and lens covers. The third one is the increasing number of dead satellites and spacecraft in low Earth orbit. The last one is the testing of weapons and anti-satellite missile test. The past source of a space debris is the testing of weapons and anti-satellite missile test. In 1985, tests by US destroyed a 1-ton satellite orbiting, creating 1,000 of a space debris. Now I am going to discuss about the statistic of a space waste. As of a 2009 report, 19,000 space debris over 5 cm were tracked. More than 170 million waste smaller than 1 cm, 67,000 debris 1 to 10 cm, and approximately 29,000 larger pieces in orbit, estimated in a July 2013 report. According to July 2016, nearly 18,000 new artificial objects are orbiting above the Earth. As of a October 2019 report, nearly 20,000 artificial objects in orbit above the Earth. Over 98% of the 1,900 tons of space debris in low Earth orbit was over 100 kg. The amount of space is increasing day by day.
Space junk growth per year. Below is the graph of space junk growth in space per year. In this graph, x-axis indicates year whereas y-axis indicates number of objects. In this graph, orange area indicates number of satellites. Red area indicates number of platforms in space. Yellow area indicates number of rocket bodies, whereas green area indicates space junk.
Hello everyone, I am Pradna Desai, Division C, roll number 11. Now we see effects of space waste on space. Space debris is travels at very high speeds in the space, therefore there are many chances of collision in space, and it is very dangerous for the working satellites and spacecrafts. It is also risky for the astronauts during their spacewalks. It is dangerous for the International Space Station, that is ISS. ISS is like a temporary home for the astronauts. Satellites going down means working satellites are come in contact with the dead satellites, then because of server damage they goes down towards the earth. Now effects on the earth. Problems with communication satellites means communication satellites are also affected by the space debris, and many internet connections would lost, and many entertaining things like internet, radio, television are also affected by this. GPS means global positioning system is used in many fields like airlines, navigation to find the routes. But because of space debris, we can't find the exact routes using GPS. In military also, many satellites are used for the guided missile, drones and for communication. But these all things are also affected by the space debris. Falling of space trash in Earth's orbit, many of the dead satellites are destroyed themselves after entering into the atmosphere. But some of them are reaches to the Earth's surface, and they are very dangerous for the human being and animals also. Now we see methods used to deal with the space waste. Growth mitigation, it is a method to avoid excessive creation of space waste in space by launching the satellites in elliptical orbit. That's why the satellites decay themselves after entering into the atmosphere, and this is very useful method. Remotely controlled vehicles means it is a well studied method in which vehicles are remove or capture and return the dead satellites to their desired state or the central station. Self-removal means some satellites are destroyed themselves after entering into the atmosphere after their death. External removals means other satellites are launched into the atmosphere to remove the dead satellites from the space. Laser methods. In this method, highly intensive lasers are continuously falling on the small amount of space debris. That's why they can get out of the way of the working satellites, and we can get them at their desired position. Now next is nets. Nets is the type of satellites which are used to remove the heavier junk, space junk from the space, that is approximately 4,000 kg of space junk from the lower Earth orbit. Now these are the methods used to deal with the space. Further presentation will be continued by Keshu.
Hello everyone, my name is Keshvi Abhijit Vakrekar. I am from Division C. Today we will be talking about solutions for the space recyclers. So first solution is bringing the sun into focus. In this process, the parabolic reflector of 50 to 100 diameter is used, within which the compartments are there in which the space debris or space junk is stored. The second solution is space junk recycler, which was given by Northrop Grumman artistic concept, which is the theory of Illy. In this theory, the concentration of solar heat is consumed in a spherical ball of a small diameter, due to which the space junk or the space waste gets evaporated.
The third solution is scavenging the space graveyards. Scavenging means storing the dead satellites or the dead bodies in the graveyard, which is located at 22,500 kilometers apart. Uses of smaller, lighter and simpler satellites. This is the last solution. In this solution, after using the smaller, lighter and simpler satellites, one could be preventing the collision of the satellites, and the financially it could be. Now we will be looking to the precautions. First precaution is employing collision avoidance technique. The second one is reduce long-term creation of space junk. Third is regulation of international laws. Fourth one is uses of space trafficking management system. Fifth is share key satellite operation information elements. And the sixth is plan mission of lower risk of creating space waste. So the conclusion is that e-waste is very hazardous for the mankind as well as on the earth and for the satellites which are located in the space. So the solutions provided should be used, and the international regulations or the peaceful treaties which are signed by the United Nations of this peaceful outer space management should be taken into accordance, which was signed on 2007. So ISRO has also signed the treaty, and it has bring to a lighter, financially stable satellite so that the space junk can be reduced. So we should take all the steps into consideration, and which could help in the reduction of the space debris and space junks. These are some of the references which are provided, from which we took the information for the presentation. Thank you everyone. Stay home, stay safe.